Hey, what's up everybody? This is Art is Hard with Sage McGee. Today, we're going to paint some balloons. Going to be to get your supplies. For this painting, I'm going to be using a Micron pen. Be sure to check that. Nope, that's not the right one. Get your Micron pen. I'm going to use a liner brush here. It has a curved tip on the end. And of course, classic watercolor round brush. Your next step is to hold your supplies. Just touch them and think for a bit. That's enough thinking. Okay. And this is crucially important, is to needlessly rearrange your supplies. Go ahead and just put them somewhere else than where they were. Okay, that's good. Nice and lined up. All right, put your paper somewhere else. Now we're going to start drawing. Nope, we're going to start drawing. And like I said, we're going to be doing some balloons. Just sketch that out too lightly for the camera to see. Now that you have drawn your bouquet of balloons, promptly change your mind and erase all of them. Go ahead and wipe away any remaining eraser dandruff. Decide what supply you need. Now we're going to take our liner brush, and this next step is to just sit there and think for a bit. Nope. Oh, nope. And that's it for the liner brush. Next we're going to go into a round watercolor brush. Go ahead and wet that. A little bit of water. This squirt gun began its life as a Rocky Horror Picture Show prop, but you know, this is a close second. Wet your brush, dry off your clean brush, do some thinking, more thinking. Okay, now wet your already dry brush, go into the green. We're going to really fill up the brush with color. Just load that brush full of color. Dab, dab, dab some more. Now wipe off nearly all that color. And we're just going to mix it around in the tray until all the color has moved into the water. Dab it a little bit more. Actually, you needed more color than that. Add some more color. Stir that around. Clean off your dirty brush and the dirty water cup. Dry it off. Clean water cup. Go into the orange. Same routine. You get the idea. Dirty water, dirty brush. Directly into the red. Didn't need clean water this time, I guess. That's okay. And then into the blue. Now we're gonna take our blue brush. Dry that off. And then go into the clean water cup with our dirty brush. Okay, time for yellow. Add the yellow. You get the idea. You understand paint masking. I'm just gonna... I'll stop talking for a bit. Art is hard. Your next step is going to be some more needless rearranging. Yep, just fidget a bit and then do some more thinking. Just think. Okay. Clean off our brush a little bit. Dry off our brush. Go into the mostly clean water. Roll off the water. Go ahead and load your brush full of that light green color. Make sure it's totally full of color. And in nice smooth strokes in a downward motion, we're going to pull the color towards the base of and also, I guess, push back up. But mostly push downward, pulling downward in a smooth motion, because we want the balloon to be slightly darker on the bottom where all the material is gathered together. Even out the edges. And now we're going to do the little shooby doop. I think that's what that's called. The bottom of the balloon. The shooby doop. Now we're going to dry off our brush. Go into the next color. And the same thing. Just pull downward. We want to collect all the color towards the base of the balloon. Smooth strokes. Just as even as you can get it. There you go. Pull all the color to the bottom. And I know that this looks very, very light, but that's because it is. Oh shoot, what color was it? I think it was orange. Here's the shooby-doop, the shoe, the bee, and the dupe. Okay. Even out the lines. It's looking good. Mostly. There we go. Now we're going to go into the blue balloon, and it's the same routine, so I'll just stop talking for a bit. Now let's zoom in, see our progress so far. And it looks, fine. It looks, focus, it looks like we could focus, like we could improve a bit. So let's let this layer dry completely before we move on, and we'll see if we can't improve it. Now in our second layer of balloons, we're going to use the green color, the darker green, and you really have to mix it around because the little bits of particulate matter will start to settle pretty quickly. So once you've given that a good stir, decide where you want your next balloon, and just try to use just the long, smooth strokes. Ideally, you will make a balloon that is the same size as the others, but it's art, and there are no right answers here. You can make whatever you want, including one balloon that's just slightly slightly doop-be-doop, slightly smaller than the others. That's okay. Dirty brush into the dirty water cup. Go ahead and dry that off. Next we're going to go into either red or orange. Nope, blue. Going to go into the light blue. And once again, got to stir that around because the color does start to settle on the bottom of the tray. And we're placing that blue balloon here because it nicely overlaps with the other two. And that's the point of using these very thinned out colors, is that you can see the other balloons underneath it. So it looks like they're those translucent ones, you know, that you see at amusement parks. Shoo, and be-doop, shoo-be-doop, shoo. Got the shoo-be-doop down. Okay. Blue balloon done. See how fast that was? Art isn't so hard. I regret saying that. We're going to take our brush, put it into the dirty water cup, dry it off, clean water, mostly clean water cup, and now it's time for the third layer. With the cleanish water, I'm going to go into the red, and I forgot to mention, this is very important. Make sure that there's a continuity error while you're recording, and that you have on different clothes than you did in the layer before. Very important. Same technique as the other 5 balloons. Pull down the color so that it's slightly darker on the bottom. And try to make it even. Shooby-doop, shooby-doop. Got the shooby-doop done. Very nice. And now, through the miracle of free video editing software, I will speed up this minute of painting down to just a few seconds. It is at this point that I would like to interrupt our regularly scheduled programming to show you in this photo featuring my cartoonishly large sideshow bob hair that I do in fact know how to paint. I am capable. If you look, I think it's clever. It's a watermelon. A watermelon. See, it's a melon, but it's filled with water like an aquarium. There's a little jellyfish. It's got bite marks. Okay, anyway, point is, I do know how to paint. Just keep that in mind when you see the following. Alright, it's time for the big reveal. Pan up to... oh boy. Focus. Pan up to... whoa, zoom, enhance. Well, it's not pretty. Maybe from a different angle. Okay, low angle approach. Ooh, it's looking better. It's looking bad. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not looking great. Art is hard, but it's not impossible. So here's what we're gonna do. take off this flaming pile of trash, gently of course. I'm going to use the backside of that for some scratch drafts later on. Put that aside. Now we're going to take out different paper. We're going to be using 100% cotton, and this is important, cold press finish. The other one was hot press. What's the difference? Cold press finish is textured. It's what you think of when you think of watercolor paper. The other one I was using is basically postcard material and not really appropriate for watercolor. Oh shoot, that was clean water. I put the dirty brush in there. Art is hard. Art is hard. Okay, ditching this drawing entirely, I'm just gonna go directly into the red. Nope, never mind, into the orange. Into the orange. Oh, that's right, it was so light the first time around. I deep fried it. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I really didn't. What I meant to do was increase the saturation a bit. But what I did instead was deep fry my own video. Okay, well, shoo, 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 bee, 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 doop, doop, doop. Shoo, bee, 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 doop, doop. I hope this one turns out better. Okay, clean off your dirty brush in the dirty water. Wipe that down. Into the mostly clean water. Wipe that down. Go back into the light green. It looks a little bit thicker this time around. That's because I did add more pigment to all of them. Dab off the extra color. And this time around, I made them less even, the height of the balloons, and I think that looks more natural. You know, naturally occurring balloon bouquets. You've seen them out in the wilderness. Same technique as all the others. Same technique as all the others. We're gonna pull down the color so that it's slightly darker next to the shooby doops. Shoo, 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 shoo. Beep, 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 doop, doop, doop. Shoop, beep, beep, beep. Beep, shoop, shoop, shoop. Okay, shooby doop done. Clean off your brush. It is at this point in the video I recognize you have figured out the steps. It's a pretty simple painting, so I'm just going to stop talking for a bit and you can enjoy some jazz. Shoo, 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 bee, 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 shoo, shoo, doop, 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 doop. And you can see the color is darker on the bottom. It collected down at the bottom because there is more water there. And when it dries, like I said, it will look only a little bit darker because this is a very light wash. I'm told wash is the word that you use in watercolor when you use lots of water instead of lots of color. Now, as you can see, because I did add a little bit more pigment, these overlapping colors are coming out more vibrant. Wow, that was a nice oval. What a great oval. I like that oval. Continue with the same technique, pulling the color downward. There'll be a shooby-doob. You get the idea. It's pleasant painting. It's important to note that I am waiting for each layer to completely dry. If you try to add each one on top of each other, it will turn into a bleedy, messy, runny, brown mess. And that's a good thing for a chocolate lava cake, all those words. Those words are not so good for a colorful balloon painting. So just be sure each layer is totally dry before you start the next one. Going into our last balloon, make sure everything's nicely stirred, get an even amount of color onto your brush. Decide where to put your last balloon. I think that's a nice balanced place right there. You know the drill, pull the color downward. And this is one of the places that the different paper is going to really show its worth, which is that when I do the shooby-doop, a lot of color is going to collect, well, not a lot, a bit more color is going to collect at the bottom. There's the shoe, you see then the bee, oop, that's not enough color. Finish the bee, go into the dupe. And you see that little puddle right there. In our first painting, there was a sort of stain-like appearance that came out in the little puddles at the bottom, and I didn't like the way that looked. It looked messy and unfinished. But as you can see here, no such stain. Time for our very last step. Gonna take our micron pen, draw the little ribbons, or strings, or twine, or whatever you like to use to tie your balloons. This is America. You can do whatever you want. Now, pretty quickly, I made a regrettable decision. I do my paintings for my Redbubble store, and that means that I need to Photoshop out all the white space. And right about there, I created the tiniest little triangle of white space that was very difficult to Photoshop out. That's probably not relevant to you. I just wanted to complain. Draw a little bow. Oh, look at that little bow. 2 strands, even though there are 7 balloons. Isn't that silly? Shoot, beat, doop. Draw the outside arc. Shoot, beat, doop. Draw that next outside arc, and it's okay if they don't totally line up. That's part of the charm of this style of watercolor paint. Shoot, beat, doop. The charm is that it's not totally perfect, so you'll see that I go a little bit beyond and a little bit within the color. Shoot, beat, doop. And that's just a more whimsical way of doing watercolor painting. Go ahead and connect the outside. You don't want them shoot, beat, doop. You don't want them to overlap on all of them. That way you can tell what's in front, what's in back. It's just some executive decision making. Shoot, beat, doop. Last one. We're so close to done, everybody. Shoot, beat, doop. And that's it! We did a painting! Big reveal. Oh, there it is. There's the bottom. That's a nice little bow. It's coming. Well, would you look at that? That is an acceptable watercolor painting. It was a journey, friends. Now let's just compare that to our first. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, well, I'd much rather look at this. That bottom one is hot press paper with a very wet technique, thus a bad idea. Don't do that. Again, just to remind you, I do know how to paint. Thanks for watching.